What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Very Cold Lasagna, the podcast that has a safe and open listening platform for casual, cold, and even the dumbest takes on the world of WWE, AEW, the NFL, and the wide world of pro wrestling and sports in general. I'm your host, DylanLasagna. Welcome to today's episode number 41 of this freezing cold podcast. Now it's time to open up that fridge and grab that very cold lasagna, because today we got another good show for you all, because we're going to be taking a look at another pay-per-view that happened this past week, this past Sunday. And what exactly am I talking about? All Elite Wrestling. They had a pay-per-view this past Sunday called All Out. They went all out, balls to the walls, in Chicago, Illinois, at the Now Arena. That is right. You probably heard about All Out. If you haven't, well, yeah, I can't blame you. I really can't blame you for not hearing about AEW. But that's okay. That is okay. That's why we're here to talk about it. So AEW had their pay-per-view All Out this past Sunday, September 5th. They were, again, at the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois. It was their first pay-per-view outside of their usual location, Daly's Place, in Jacksonville, Florida, since, well, the COVID-19 pandemic started. So it's the first pay-per-view outside of their home base. And this was the first pay-per-view for one, CM Punk. You know, CM Punk, the creator, the promo creator of the Pipe Bomb promo, the longest reigning WWE champion, not the Universal champion, the WWE champion of the modern era. Yes, that CM Punk. He is going to wrestle in his first show since the 2014 WWE Royal Rumble. And honestly, heading into the show, I talked about it in the last episode of Very Cold Lasagna. I was not looking forward to it. I thought this show was kind of like a 4-hour Dynamite, or a 4-hour episode of like AEW's YouTube show Dark, because a lot of this card seems like it was put together at the last minute, kind of like a typical WWE pay-per-view nowadays. You had Kenny Omega versus Christian in a world title match that I think I talked about on the previous episode, that should have been Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page, but I totally understand why they didn't do it. But they also had a bunch of filler matches, like, well, the Big Show versus QT Marshall. They also had who else did they had? Oh, the TNT champion Miro versus Eddie Kingston, John Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. And yeah, most of this card was filler matches, but there were some other matches on this card, such as the AEW Women's Championship match, the big match between CM Punk and Darby Allin, and MJF versus Chris Jericho. But obviously, the biggest match that I personally believe should have been the main event was CM Punk versus Darby Allin, because that big question: how is CM Punk going to do in his first match since, well, 7 years? It's been 7 years since CM Punk wrestled in a pro wrestling ring. He's been away from wrestling. He's been doing UFC and mixed martial arts, analyzing, also even doing like a brief stay with WWE's Fox show that failed miserably. So he's been away from pro wrestling, and now he was back. He is back. So all eyes were literally on CM Punk. But now All Out has come and gone. How exactly was this show? Well, that's why we're going to talk about in this review. So before we talk about my thoughts on this pay-per-view that I was heading into, honestly not so excited, we got to do them plugs like we always do. So as always, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel of Very Cold Lasagna. Turn on the notification bell so you be notified of the vodcast version of Very Cold Lasagna, as well as those exclusive YouTube videos that are only shown, well, only on YouTube, of course, duh. And then, of course, make sure to listen to the audio side of things. Listen to me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor FM. And follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Very Cold Lasagna. Let's get into this pay-per-view. AEW All Out. All Elite Wrestling is literally going all out for this show on Sunday, September 5th, 2021 in Chicago. You know, a well-known pro wrestling town that has had a lot of events. Well, the event I mostly know is the 2011 Money in the Bank, an event that, well, CM Punk headlined. And here he was 10 years later. At least I think he was headlining, but he is going to be competing in an AEW event. But before we even talk about CM Punk's big match, there were a lot of other matches on this show. There were about 10 other matches that we have to talk about. Well, in between CM Punk and Darby Allin. There were about 8 other matches that were before that. So let's get into this 10-match supercard that people were thinking that this is AEW's WrestleMania. This is their what was WCW's like WrestleMania thing? Oh, Starrcade. TNA, like AEW's Bound for Glory, to use TNA's lame terms. So this was AEW's big show. Even though I thought it was double or nothing was AEW's like WrestleMania or something. I don't know. To AEW fans, to hardcore wrestling fans, every AEW pay-per-view feels like their WrestleMania or something. But I don't know. It is what it is. So anyway, let's talk about this so-called supercard for AEW. Again, like I mentioned before, there was supposed to be a match between Pac, formerly known as Neville in WWE, versus Andrade El Idolo. That was originally supposed to take place, but Pac had travel issues, so that was postponed for Friday, this Friday on AEW Rampage. So again, even then, like I said before, who's gonna care? I mean, obviously the hardcore fans wouldn't care, but the mainstream fans, like the casual fans, who was gonna care about that? Like, what casual fan was gonna care about Pac versus Andrade? There's no story. None of them have a character. I mean, Pac is a cool cruiserweight, but other than that, not much redeeming personalities. And like I said before with Andrade, what the hell has he done since back in June when he debuted? I mean, he enlisted Chavo Guerrero, replaced Vicky Guerrero, but other than that, he hasn't done anything. He has done nothing. So why should I care about Andrade? So yeah, that match is now happening this Friday on Rampage, AEW's other nationally televised show. So then we get into the buy-in, the pre-show match between the good guys, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, and Jurassic Express, going against the bad guys, Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2. I don't know who the fuck TH2 is. I thought it was like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, but no, it's not. So, yeah, this was pretty much like a spot orgy, like I said in the preview episode. It was just a spot orgy appetizer for the fans that are already there or piling in. But it was even more than that. This was super uncoordinated. It's like, it was also very unbelievable. And I don't mean that in a good way. Like, everything was like so telegraphed. Like, all the spots were so telegraphed. Like, you already knew what they were going to do. Like, everyone was just standing there waiting for the next spot to happen. Like, dude, like, can you make this at least believable? Like it, you're literally making it so fake. Like, because of all the spot orgies you're doing. Like, how much more fake do you have to make it by telegraphing it? Like, oh, it's already coming. By, like, doing all these unnecessary steps to set it up. It's stupid. So, the good guys win. They were attacked by the returning Butcher, whoever the fuck that is. And even though the Butcher came and attacked them, the good dudes, more good dudes, ran them away. And yeah, that was the buy-in match. So, the TNT champion Miro, formerly known as Rusev, defended the TNT title against Eddie Kingston. And honestly, this was not a great opener. I mean, I was already bored with this match because, well, with the fact that Eddie Kingston was no-selling like an asshole. I'm like, dude, like, what's so special about Eddie Kingston? It's like, he should be, like, getting his ass whooped by, like, this dominant redeemer. That's not really redeemer. He's, like, a demolisher in Miro. So, I don't understand, like, when Miro was was kicking Eddie Kingston's ass, Eddie Kingston would just, like, keep getting up and hitting him. Like, dude, sell the attack that your opponent is giving you. Like, what are you doing here? It makes no sense. So, Eddie Kingston managed to escape the game over. He hit a snap DDT on Miro for 2. He tried to hit him into an exposed turnbuckle, but the referee stopped him. And while Eddie Kingston was trying to argue with the official, Miro dick kicked him while the referee's back was turned, and he was trying to deal with Eddie Kingston. That blindside kick allowed Miro to kick Eddie Kingston into the head, and he got the pinfall victory. So, yeah, not a great opener. I mean, but all that matters is Miro is still the TNT champion. So next we get another pointless, boring match with Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. So Jon Moxley beat this random dude, Satoshi Kojima, with 2 paradigm shifts. I was bored out of my mind. I played this match at 2 times speed. I wish I had played this at 5 times speed because this was just boring as hell. And I will say one thing that's unrelated to this match, Aubrey Edwards, what the fuck are you doing? She is so damn extra. She's going like, if you're listening to the audio version, like, I'm waving my arms. I'm doing what Aubrey Edwards does in every damn match. And she does the referee slide. Like, I mean, that's fine if you're doing a referee slide because that's what you're supposed to do when you're trying to, like make a pinfall. But she's after she calls for a 2 count, she's just, like, modeling. Like, she's modeling for people. Like, the referee is not supposed to be the star of the show here. It's the wrestlers in the ring. Like, Aubrey, do your job, please. Do your job. Anyway, so after the match, another random dude named Minoru Suzuki, I thought it was Minoru Sushi or whatever, so he is now busting open the forbidden door between AEW and New Japan, and he comes out, confronts Moxley, though, and they have a stare down, and all the fans in attendance and the fans at home are getting out there, and doing the thing, and boosh! Even before the big thing happens at the end of the show, they were like, there was a ghost, there's ectoplasm. So they brawled. The Suzuki dude, the sushi dude, stands tall, and nobody cares. So then we get to a match that I personally care about. Finally, the AEW Women's Champion, Dr. Britt Baker DMD, taking on Kris Statlander, the Galaxy's alien. So this was an alright match, decent. But I don't know what these are the things that kind of killed it for me. They did okay for the most part, but they were pretty botchy. They were pretty sloppy. There were 2 particular botches that kind of killed the vibe. They pretty killed the vibe for me. Britt Baker did this hanging neck breaker onto Kris Statlander, and Kris Statlander almost landed neck first into the turnbuckle. I guess it's because Britt Baker didn't properly position her, and then Kris Statlander tried to go for a superplex, but I guess Britt Baker was so heavy that the weight nearly collapsed onto Statlander, so she had to make a last-minute adjustment to assure that Baker would at least land on her back. I'm like, they could have gotten seriously hurt, and I don't want that for them, but goddamn, AEW needs to get get a lot of these women, like, properly trained. And yes, of course, I want them to have both the look, but also the in-ring skill. I mean, I don't want the Russell Wilson, Pete Carolus, Seattle Seahawks, but at least, look, appealing, and do good at it too. So anyway, this match was also weird because Kris Statlander was on a roll, but then all of a sudden, Britt Baker introduced everything in her playbook with a Bret Bird Sunrise, baby, a curb stomp, yeah, Seth Rollins, yeah, and the lockjaw to all consecutively to win via TKO. So Kris Statlander technically didn't tap out; she passed out. So it was like a technical knockout sort of thing. So, I mean, it didn't really hurt momentum-wise for Kris Statlander, but it was just kind of weird that she took all of that consecutively. I don't know, it just feels like it made her a little less important. It just did a little bit. So, at least for now, Britt Baker remains champion. I'm just wondering who will challenge her next. But, oh wait, I think we know. We know now. But we'll get into that in just a bit. So, Britt Baker remains your champion. The DMD is still women's champion. So then we get into the AEW Tag Team Championship match between the Cucks of Suck and the Lucha Bros in a steel cage match. Yeah, I was bored. I'm sorry. The people that are saying this was one of the greatest cage matches of all time, I was bored. I was really bored with this match. I even tried playing it at normal speed. I wasn't buying into it. There's nothing there for me. So this Muelas de Gallo rapper, he came out, did the Lucha Bros theme song. I mean, Lucha Bros had pretty cool attire. I'll give them that. The Lucha Bros had pretty cool attire. Otherwise, this was your typical, like I said before, typical no-selling spot orgy. Everyone going, oh shit, in the crowd because it's the Cucks of Suck style of match where they do a bunch of false finishes, super kick orgies, super obvious set of spots, especially near the end. When Rey Fenix was on the top of the cage, and instead of, letting him fly down onto the Cucks of Suck, he flew down onto the Cucks of Suck, but also El Zero Miedo also took the hit. Get out of the way, dude. Get them into position, but also get out of the way. But it's just so, typical indie bullshit. What are we doing here? What are you doing? It was so dumb. So, it finally ended. It finally ended with the Cucks of Suck actually putting someone over for once. God damn. Finally. Their reign of terror is over. The Lucha Bros, bloodied and all, won the tag team belts. For, well, something to enjoy. I mean, cool. They're the tag team champions. Sadly, though, they don't have much competition aside from Jurassic Express and, of course, the Cucks of Suck. Because, well, the Cucks of Suck reign of terror pretty much put everyone down in the grave. Yeah. Everyone in the tag team division is down in the grave. So, as for the steel cage match, this was your typical, again, indie fed match. No selling, high spot orgy matchup, and there's no, story or character. I mean, there was blood, but nothing of any marketable pro wrestling characteristics or elements to back it up. So, I guess the one redeeming thing, again, is the Bucks of Suck reign of terror is over. So, there's that. So, then we get into the 21-woman Casino Battle Royale for a future AEW Women's title match. This, again, was originally supposed to be on the buy-in pre-show, But again, due to Pac versus Andrade being canceled until this Friday, this was moved until the main card. And we didn't know when it was, but now we know where. So apparently the participants changed during this match. I'm not going to read through all the participants, just that were inserted at the last moment. But here's the list of what I knew. So there's Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole, Tay Conti, Julia Hart. I don't think Julia Hart was in this, actually. Diamante, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, Hikaru Shida, Emi Sakura, Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, Abaddon, Layla Hirsch, Kylie King, Rebel, Jamie Hayter, Anna Jay. I think there was another person named Sky Blue. I think that was the other one. Oh, and Riho. So, yeah, this was... it was alright, whatever. It was just like your typical cool down match. I don't know. I was kind of low-key rooting for Tay Conti to win because, she can get into my bed and go, yeah. But why did they eliminate her so early on? We were getting down to the final 3 and she's gone already. Like, come on. So they eliminated all the good women, like Hikaru Shida, Tay Conti, Jade Cargill, and Nyla Rose was in the final 3. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So, unsurprisingly, Ruby Soho was the final entrant, the Joker card of this match. And lo and behold, surprise! She beats Thunder Rosa, eliminates her, and gets herself a future AEW Women's title match against the DMD, Britt Baker. I probably assume this match is going to be on an episode of Dynamite or Rampage, or who knows. They might build it up to Full Gear because, well, look at the women's division. There is no challengers. Aside from now, one Ruby Soho. So, even then, she's not going to be elevating the women's division on a true marketable level. I mean, Britt Baker's the only one that's there. So, yeah, whatever. So then we get into, personally, another big match for me. MJF versus Chris Jericho, and a stipulation in this match was that if Jericho lost, he'd have to retire from AEW in-ring competition. Now, going into this match, I was kind of like lost in the shuffle with this feud because it's been nearly a year since these two had their storyline, and it's been kind of dragging on, like, since after Double or Nothing. I thought it would be over after the Inner Circle got their victory, but then again, it was just like, technically, I argued this in the review episode of Double or Nothing. Why didn't they book Jericho to get the victory over MJF, and that would be it? Or what they should have done, I didn't say this in any of the preview or review episodes, but why didn't they do the Stadium Stampede first and Blood and Guts next? And then I honestly didn't know what the third and decisive match would be, but it should have been like, I don't know, something. Maybe at least it would lead to this match or something, not like where we are now. I don't know. This just felt weird heading into. Now, as for this match itself, it was all right. It was nothing special. It was so-so. But there was one thing that I absolutely loved, and that was MJF's entrance. I thought it was going to be Chris Jericho coming out with his retro WWE theme music, break the walls down, break the walls down. He had that retro countdown that you saw when he first debuted, but then all of a sudden it reads Chris Jericho's last match when it had the Tron. Everyone was so mad as MJF read his entrance. Everyone was so pissed. MJF trolled them so hard. That was the entrance of the night. That was so damn good. People may hate on MJF. He's like Miz 2.0. And sure, he's reaching there. But this was really good. This is so damn good on MJF. So, as for Jericho, he had his own special entrance. He had a guitarist play Judas on his way to the ring. But damn, this was not it. This guitarist did not do it for me. And I don't think it did it for the fans either, because they were trying to sing along to Judas, but they were messing up big. All the fans that were trying to sing it, they couldn't like sing along while the guitarist was playing. So it essentially fucked up themselves trying to sing along with Jericho. Yeah, good job, Jericho, trying to hire this guitarist to do your theme song. Don't do that again. If you're going to do that, at least stick with the acapella that you did a couple weeks ago. So, early on, MJF used Jericho's jacket to wipe his ass with as toilet paper. So that was pretty funny. And then he ripped a sign and did a bunch of other heelish kind of things. And that's why I liked MJF. That's why I like MJF. And sure, he kind of does some repetitive things, but at least there are some things that he tries to do to freshen himself up. So towards the end, Wardlow comes out and he's about to attack Jericho, but Jake Hager came out of nowhere, and the two fight in the to the backstage area. And while Aubrey Edwards is trying to sort things out, MJF uses Jericho's baseball bat behind him and hits Jericho with the Judas effect for the win. Yeah, Chris Jericho's career right there and there. Over. Or so you thought. Yeah, you thought it was over right there, huh? So, Aubrey Edwards, being the dumbass referee she is, she didn't see Jericho's foot on the rope right before she hit the 3 count. She was so damn distracted by MJF's good looks that she didn't see Jericho's foot on the ropes. So, she had to be outed by another official backstage, and she had to restart the match. So, the match was restarted. MJF's pissed. He pushes Aubrey Edwards, rightfully so, and Aubrey pushes him back, and MJF nearly loses the match on a fruit roll-up, but MJF locks Jericho in the salt in the wound armbar, but Jericho fought out of it and turned it into the walls of Jericho, and MJF eventually taps out because his back gave out and he couldn't crawl to the ropes and whatnot. So Jericho won, kept his AEW wrestling career going. Everyone sang along to Judas, and the Inner Circle came in to celebrate. So again, this match was all right. It was all right in my book. Just simple, straight to the point. That's why I liked it. And even then, like, I actually appreciate the crowd for this particular match, because even though it didn't have all the high spots or like all the super kick orgies, they ate every simple thing that was happening. And that's what it should be. Like, keep things simple and don't over rely so much on the match mark bullshit. You know, keep it 50-50. Like a half slice of everything. So, this was an alright match because kept things simple, to the book. MJF being a typical asshole heel, Jericho fighting back, rallying, and then you get the false finish with MJF cheating his way to win, only to get his comeuppance in the end. And Jericho keeps his wrestling career alive in AEW. So, again, like I said before, this doesn't really hurt MJF in any sort of manner. He was already undefeated against Chris Jericho. So, yeah, an ex-WWE guy beat an up-and-coming AEW talent, but that was only once. Like, it's like, I don't like that notion. Like, oh, it's okay if AEW does it, but WWE does too. Like, I totally agree. But in this case, like, I think I'm more so leaning to this kind of thing is okay, because Jericho had already lost to MJF 3 times. He already put him over 3 times. And this was Jericho's way of, you know, at least wanting to get some kind of win back. So it is what it is. I'm not really too mad about it. It's like MJF will bounce back anyway, as long as he doesn't go to catering or go to dark forever. So Jericho gets his W. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I just hope that they both move on. Like the Inner Circle, the Pinnacle, they both move on from each other after All Out, because it's time to end this feud once and for all. And I hope this match was the emphasis that this feud needs to end for good. So then now we get into the big match that, well, everyone is watching for. CM Punk versus Darby Allin. CM Punk's first in-ring match for the first time in 7 years. I emphasized on last week's episode, the preview episode of All Out, that all eyes were going to be on CM Punk. Not for like how this match was going to be. Like, forget the match quality. How is he going to perform in the ring? How is he going to like perform each move? How is he going to keep up with Darby Allin, who, at least in AEW standards, is this up-and-coming star? And how is he going to, do all these wrestling fundamentals after not doing them for over 7 years? Especially selling, because selling each and every move is key in pro wrestling. So those were my biggest questions with CM Punk. He needed to back up on all the hype that he had going into this match. If you didn't like it, shut the fuck up and all that. Or that I'm back and all that. I was away from pro wrestling for this amount of time, and now I'm back ready to wrestle in pro wrestling again. And now he needed to deliver on the hype this past Sunday. So he comes out to a standing ovation with his theme music playing. It's clobbering time. And let's talk about this match a little bit. So Darby Allin gets the early offense in, but he takes a nasty hammer throw into the ring post that sends him outside the ring early. And CM Punk takes control of the match for a good portion, which is some basic submission moves. And after a while, Darby Allin gets back into it with his own flurry. He uses typical offense like high-flying dives, coffin splash, and whatnot. So he tries to go for the coffin drop, his finishing move, but CM Punk sat up at the very last minute, and after some pinfall attempts, Darby Allin tried to go for like a Poison Rana, like a modified version of a Hurricanrana, but he ends up getting caught in a go to sleep, and CM Punk would win his return match. So, like I said before, like main event or not, you really thought you were gonna have your a guy that didn't return to pro wrestling just to lose. So, yeah, CM Punk gets his win. After the match, he shakes hands with Sting and Darby Allin, and he celebrates with the fans. And I gotta be honest, this match was a lot shorter than I thought it'd be. I mean, I don't want a long, boring match. No, don't get me wrong. But I thought it'd be a little longer, because we got from entrance to, stare down or like, I don't know, sit down. And then we got through like, the early phases, like, the ring psychology, like, I got the arm or I got the head lock in and whatnot. It felt like it was shorter. And then all of a sudden, like after that sequence, after Darby Allin got his offense, after CM Punk got his offense, everything just got quicker. Like, and then it was over. It was all over. And no, I'll be honest. This was the only match that I didn't play sped up. This was the only match that I played at normal speed whatsoever. That being said, this match was okay. Like, I thought CM Punk did okay. Like, of course, I think the biggest thing that I would like CM Punk to do going forward is move a lot quicker. He still has a long ways to go to shake off that ring rust, because he looked slow. He looked really, really slow for a lot of this match. He looked slow, hitting a lot of his moves, with exception to some like a backbreaker, suplex, whatnot. But he just at times moved slow, sold things like a little late. But the crowd, the crowd ate it up as you still got it, and that they reserved that right too. But for me, he has a ways to go. If I want to say that, if I want to say he still got it. But like in contrast, when Edge had his first match, like his first true wrestling match, like that's not pre-recorded and whatnot. What was that? WrestleMania 37, or the actual match that I watched with Edge back at Money in the Bank. That was actually pretty good. Like Edge looked great in that match, and I guess if you want to get really technical, back at WrestleMania 36, he was good, and back at the Royal Rumble, he looked good. But CM Punk still has a long ways to go. I mean, again, I'm not knocking CM Punk at all. I think if he tried, and if he ever put his ego aside, and I doubt he would anyway, because he's a mark for himself. He could seriously make a comeback at wrestling. He really could, like a serious comeback. But as I see it now, like he still has a ways to go. He did barely decent selling Darby's offense, like I said before. Sold everything a little late, but he did add a few new moves to his offense instead of just like, oh, I'm a kicking guy, or I just do a few punches or whatnot. But again, these things take time. Like, what, I'm not gonna like completely bash CM Punk for not doing so well on one match, because he did do some things that were good. It's just that he needs to have a little bit more impact, a little bit more speed, and he'll, like, if he puts the commitment, it'll come in time. It'll come in time. So we'll see what happens there. So this was a pretty okay match. Very slow for the most part, even though it went by pretty quick. Again, it was until 3/4 of the way that it really got to pick up the pace. So, again, I'm not disappointed. I just felt like CM Punk could have done a little better here. But again, I'm generous. I'm a generous guy. This match was pretty much designed to help CM Punk shake off the ring rust, get the cobwebs out of of his own personal wrestling ring, and he was not bad. He was not bad, but he can be a lot better. And again, that will come at time. That will come in time. And I like not to play Smark's defenders, but like I know some fans are there saying, "Oh, he's out of shape and whatnot." And well, honestly, we couldn't do it much better. Like us casual fans that bash on CM Punk, there are some fans that bash on CM Punk. We can't do much better in the ring. But all I can say is, like, we'll wait for another CM Punk match, and if he doesn't do doesn't do as better here, then yeah, we have the right to criticize. But it's just one match. Since this is his first match in 7 years, so let's give it time. So overall, I think CM Punk did all right. I think he did all right here in this spot. Again, very slow, a very slow match that felt pretty quick, but it is what it is. He did all right here. So after this match, we got the cool down match that I called would happen here in my preview video, because we got the Big Show versus QT Marshall in the match that I knew was gonna be placed in between one of the main event matches. And I was correct. This happened in between one of the main event matches, and it turned out to be CM Punk versus Darby Allin, and I guess now it's the main event, the world title match. So this is pretty much a squash match by Whirl. So he pretty much squashed the jobber known as QT Marshall on pay-per-view, and yeah, it was whatever. Moving on. So then we get the AEW world title match between Kenny Omega versus the the Impact World Champion Christian Cage. I gotta say, this match was okay, like not okay. That's being too generous. It was, for a Kenny Omega match, it was borderline below average. It was average, actually. I'll be generous. I'll be a little generous. It was average, not decent, average. And I say average because I think Kenny Omega has found a dance partner that can slow him down from performing his typical indie-fed Cucks of Suck style of match. So Christian was selling for him. He was not falling into that trap of, I gotta have a false finish every 5 seconds. And they were at least trying to, sell some injuries, and play that into the match as a story. And at least there was a little bit of effort there. So there was a couple of good things there. The only downside I have to this match is, why was there a table? Why all of a sudden did a referee allow a table to be used in this match? Even behind the first time Kenny Omega stomped Christian onto a table, and then the second time around, the referee blatantly saw Christian spear Kenny Omega through a table on the outside, and he was just like, okay, match continue. It's like, AEW, you're making your referees look completely stupid. I get it, you want the match to continue, but at least have some consistency with your damn rules and your referees. Jeez Louise. I know it's very nitpicky, but I like some consistency, please. So, Kenny Omega beat Christian to retain the AEW World title. He kicked out, surprisingly, out of the kill switch from Christian and 2 spears. And he managed to get out of the cloverleaf. So, it just kind of sucked that Kenny Omega retained, but he actually did an average job here. So, he retained with the one winged angel from the top rope. So Kenny Omega still AEW champion. So afterwards, the Cucks of Suck, the Good Brothers, came out to celebrate with their glory hole champion, and they beat down on Christian, continuously until Jurassic Express came out to try to save him, but to no avail. So Kenny Omega also cut a promo. He was talking about how no one could beat him because they were either young or not here or retired or already dead. So no one was able to dethrone him as champion. But then the winner went black, and on the Tron it said, Adam Cole, gay. Yes, that is right. Adam Cole has officially joined All Elite Wrestling, to no one's surprise. So, Adam Cole thought he was going up against the Elite, but bam, super kick to Jungle Boy, and he is back with his butt buddies, the Cucks of Suck, and Kenny Omega. So, Adam Cole cuts a promo, I don't remember what it was, but after that, Kenny Omega says adieu and goodbye to the Chicago crowd until Daniel not that anymore. Bryan Danielson. He came out and everyone was yesing to their heart's content because their golden champion that empowered this movement that we're in, that caused the downfall of wrestling even more. But yet they're clamoring as their champion. Bryan Danielson, I will never get used to that. He came out, scared away the Elite, and he led an odds-on, even numbered attack onto the Elite, and he stood tall along with Christian and the Jurassic Express to end the show. So there you have it. Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson are officially All Elite. So wow. Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, guys, are All Elite. WWE is so done. They are dead in the water. The fucking water, man. Oh my god. Midget Cole and Yes Man Bryan, they're the drizzling shits. In AEW land, they're gonna take over the wrestling world with CM Punk and Sting and all those guys. Man, you like I want AEW to succeed, but this is not the way to do it. Like with Midget Cole, Yes Man, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, the Cucks of Suck, Kenny Omega, all together to combine the Avengers of Indie Fed Jobbers. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Indie Fed Avengers. That is what this pretty much has come to. So, my personal opinion, they aren't going to do shit for AEW other than have great matches and talk about how hard they worked to deserve world title matches and how we worked our way all around the world to deserve to be All Elite. But Dylan, AEW has a big three finally to finally take over WWE. I don't see it. And here's the thing. I really hate when social media compares like WWE wrestlers or pro wrestlers in general, like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and Adam Cole, to actual successful athletes like LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. There's literally a Bleacher Report post, like a BR Wrestling post, that compared those three guys, CM Punk, Bryan, and Cole, to fucking the Big Three in Miami. Are you fucking serious? The Big Three in Miami won 2 back-to-back championships and went to 4 straight finals. For as much as I hate LeBron James, they went to 4 straight finals. And what did these 3 indie fed jobbers do in the span of, let's say, one night, like 3 days and 1 week? Like, it's all hype. Where's the action? I want to see results. All CM Punk did was bring in 1 million viewers. Oh, whoop-de-doo. LeBron James can do that in 1 hour. Where's the results? Where's the action? Where's the results? I would personally want to see this. And I'm not trying to be an AEW hater or pro WWE or whatnot, but I do not like this notion of, AEW fans saying, oh, we're going to take down WWE. And because we have Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, CM Punk, and the Cucks of Suck and Kenny Omega. It's all over for WWE with these group of guys. Yeah, pal. It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. When literally half of the roster at this point, it's so bloated, and nearly a quarter of it is full of ex-WWE guys. It literally is. Ex-WWE guys and gals. And there's no way of saying this. It'll fail if AEW doesn't start putting their own talent over. Like MJF, Britt Baker, like they're the only 2 people that have had success on their own in AEW. Like who is there that's had considerable amount of success? That's not a homegrown talent. Like that. To rephrase that, who had the most success that is a homegrown talent in AEW besides Britt Baker and MJF? Who? Tell me who. I don't want to hear like a name that's from that was previously from WWE or TNA or whatnot. I want to hear a homegrown AEW talent. Seriously, I like. I'm just don't see it yet. That Adam Cole, baby, and Bryan Danielson, who pretty much like the media, like ESPN and like all those other sports sites, like they're probably asking who the fuck is Bryan Danielson? Oh wait, like isn't that Daniel Bryan dude? Oh yeah, like wait, Bryan Danielson? That's Daniel Bryan? Like, give me a break here. Give me a break. So overall, I just think that in the short term, yeah, it might do some things for AEW, but in the long term, will it get some mainstream appeal? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not, because it's just going to further solidify the point that fuck the casuals. That's going to solidify the biggest point. Fuck the casuals. We don't need the casuals. We can have our own gated community of so-called real wrestling fans. When you need to grow, when in actuality you need to grow the audience if you want to stay alive in the long term. And I guess in essence, this just solidifies the point that AEW doesn't want to do that. They want to have their vanilla midgets who, well, for the most part, very few of them can actually cut very few select vanilla midgets can cut good promos, but a lot of them can't. But otherwise, yeah, I guess they're content with being a nationally televised indie fed full of indie jobbers. So overall, All Out was boring for the most part. Again, some decent matches, and even the world title match, I was a little surprised by. It was fairly average, but again, 4 out of 10 matches don't make a good show. But we got Daniel Bryan, we got Adam Cole, and let's not forget Ruby Soho in AEW now. They're gonna change the pro wrestling landscape and put WWE out of business, pal. Oh yeah. When that day comes, when they overtake WWE in the ratings, and when they challenge Vince McMahon, God, when they overthrow WWE, I'll eat a bucket of chum. Yeah, I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that happen when it actuality. I don't know. We'll see if it does. It may or may not, but I doubt it. So overall, I know I was kind of furious toward the end because it's just tiring to see how some of these like diehard, hypocritical AEW fans and hardcore wrestling fans in general that despise WWE. Again, I'm not anti AEW or pro AEW or WWE. I think all pro wrestling sucks now, but I'm just giving my honest opinion on pro wrestling. It's in a terrible state. WWE is just as bad as AEW, but AEW just seems to be even worse with their nationally televised indie fed. So overall, I guess CM Punk did a decent job tonight, Sunday night, but how he keeps it up in the long term, we'll see. So that's it for this episode of Very Cold Lasagna. I am DylanLasagna, your host of this freezing cold podcast. Make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell on the YouTube channel. Make sure to listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor FM. And follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Very Cold Lasagna. And as always, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge. Your takes on the world of pro wrestling and sports in general. And speaking of sports, football is finally fucking back. And we get to talk about some NFL football, man. The 49ers are finally coming back. I can say fuck you to pro wrestling for the next couple of months. And thank God we can finally talk about some damn football. Starting with the 49ers. Or maybe with the rest of the NFL. We'll see what happens. But we could say finally all out away from pro wrestling and into the NFL season. Thank fucking God. So That is it for this episode of Very Cold Lasagna. Until next time, peace out.